You've each got your own reason for fighting. Justice is only an excuse. And that makes you all hypocrites. So I say to hell with you.
Man, she wasn't at the station today. Maybe I should check again. Nah, on second thought, I better stay put. The operation's tonight. Now that I think about it, we're fighting to protect her too. Dude, that's so rocks! Maybe we really are like heroes. Yeah!
Don't move.
Huh?
Hey, we're back at the top again today, and has anybody seen where Zero is? Well, I hope he shows up in time for the battle today, because today we are facing JB and the Arkansas Razorwinds, and unfortunately we're sitting at 0-5. One more loss would probably eliminate us from any chance for the playoffs, because, I mean, we really just need to win these last 5 games and hope a miracle happens, which is why we have 3 of our Pokemon reborn and renamed through the acquisitions of free agency, of course. But of course, this is another full moon operation, and why are these happening so much? This is the 6th one. We have to know why. Well, I mean, we are headed to the operation room, so we'll see if we can find anything out there.
Tonight marks the 6th full moon. Do you detect a shadow?
Yes. It's near Polonia Mall, I think.
You think?
For some reason, I can't quite pinpoint its location. But I'm trying to narrow it down.
Is that its power?
I don't know.
We have enough to go on.
Did you find Iori?
I can't find him anywhere. His backpack isn't here, so I don't think he's been home yet.
That idiot! He knows tonight's the night.
I don't sense him anywhere nearby. Should I take more time to look for him, just in case?
No, it's okay. You're all young. Sometimes you just get in one of those moods. Anyway, we should focus on the task at hand.
We can't afford to waste any more time. Let's go. This is a problem. We have no means of attacking it.
In your notes from previous battles, it said there was a shadow that took control of the monorail. Just like that one, this shadow must have its own body. Let me see if I can find it.
Even if we know where it is, we might not be able to get to it.
There may still be a way to reach the structure the buried cables feed into.
We'll see.
I found it! It's close by, in this mall.
In here?
It's inside a small chamber underground. It's rectangular, so I assume it's man-made.
Is it some sort of room?
Wait a minute. I overheard the manager of Escapade. He was saying that the power's been acting up lately.
That's no surprise.
He said the control panel is located beneath the club. Maybe we should take a look.
That's it!
Good job, Yamagishi. All right. Once we're ready, we'll make our move.
Well, isn't this just a great situation to be in? No Zeraora for the fight because he got kidnapped. We have to go to Club Escapade, which is somewhere in the mall. And I have recently found out that this entire shadow thing could be my fault, because all of the negativity has been just being attracted to me, and I've had to deal with it throughout this entire time. Now then, we need to get to the shadow at hand, which is of course in Club Escapade, and we will see which team they will be bringing now that we can actually see their team. Thank you for finally finding it. Anyways, as we see the team, we see at least 3 new Pokemon. Now, these are the free agents that I have received. We have Pheromosa instead of Aegislash. We traded out Mega Beedrill for Mega Pidgeot, and we traded out Hitmonchan for Escavalier. But beyond that point, we also have Hydreigon, Arcanine, and Stunfisk along for the ride as well. Not only that, but we are going up against Garchomp, Silvally, Ribombee, Blastoise, Electros, and Drapion. So if you saw the cutscene, you're probably thinking, why are you using the old images if you have new Pokemon in their place? Well, that's only just for continuity, for now. I'll explain it later. However, we need to go over the matchup here, as it's a pretty good matchup for me. The whole key here is to get Mega Pidgeot into a spot where it can sweep, or Pheromosa as well. One of those 2 Pokemon. That is the key here. I just need to survive everything else. But as we look at the leads, it's kind of hard for me to pick. I think I want to lead Pheromosa, but at the same time, I might want to lead with Stunfisk to lead off for the Stealth Rocks, because it'll be really helpful with this team, because if I can weaken it down, it'll be that much sweeter. But I predict actually his Garchomp at the last second. But without further ado, we have to explain what our team does. So, we're going to first start off with the new Pokemon that replaces Aegislash, Athena the Pheromosa, as this one is basically just holding an extra belt with Lunge, High Jump Kick, Foul Play, and U-Turn. It's pretty standard because it has enough speed to outspeed his fastest Pokemon, which I believe was Ribombee, and it's just basically max attack. So that means that if it gets off on a sweep, the attack stat is the one that gets beast boosted every time it knocks out a Pokemon. So that would be key if we can do that. Now then, we then have Hydreigon, Dahaka, who's holding the Haban Berry just so it can survive 1 attack from Garchomp. But it has Draco Meteor, Dark Pulse, Roost into Fog. I believe it has enough speed to outspeed the Primate, but Primate would probably be scarfed in that situation, so it wouldn't really work out in the end. I know it does outspeed Silvally, so that is also huge. But the whole point of this set is to take a hit from Garchomp and then fire back, because I even have 152 EVs in HP for that thing, just to make sure that it can't really damage me that hard. So our next Pokemon, though, is Cerberus the Arcanine. It's holding the Choice Scarf with Flash Fire, actually, and there is a reason for this, because Howler mentions that if he does have Superior with him, I can switch this thing in, take the Leaf Storm attack, and then absorb the HP Fire attack with Flash Fire, because of course if I did have Intimidate, then it would just get the attack boost, and I've seen that used against somebody who was using Arcanine against their Superior before. Shoutouts to you, Galactic Elliot. Anyways, we have Flare Blitz, Wild Charge, Crunch, and Extreme Speed on this thing. It's enough speed to outspeed the Ribombee, and it's obviously max attack because I can run Adamant on this one. But I threw the rest in HP just because, so I could take hits better. Next, we have Horus, the Pokemon that is replacing Mega Beedrill. It's obviously has the Pidgeotite, No Guard, but it has Hurricane, Heat Wave, Roost, and U-Turn. And this set is pretty standard in itself as well, so it doesn't really matter too much. But if I look at the stats, I believe I have enough speed to outspeed Superior, just to make sure that it can't outspeed me. I do resist the Grass type attack, but I'm not really wanting to take that attack. But like I said, the whole point is to, once the Electros is out of the way, and the Mega Pidgeot can just go off from there, especially if Ribombee's gone, because then I wouldn't be able to be outsped by anything else. So then we have Castor. Our Stunfisk is the next Pokemon, the 5th Pokemon, because this one is really useful. Mainly because it has Static, which can paralyze all the physically attacking Pokemon. I don't know if it'll really affect Garchomp, but I know Drapion and Silvally can get hit by it. and that's pretty much it. But I needed a stealth rocker for this team, so I just had to throw Stunfisk on there. But I do have some interesting combinations to use for it. It gets walled out by Superior, but, I mean, at least he didn't bring it. So it has Earth Power Discharge, Pain Split, and Stealth Rock. I was considering running Electro Web on it again, but I realized that if he brings in the Superior, then he gets the speed boost from it, and I'm not about to do that. Once again, thank you, Howler, as well for that. And now I see why I was running into so many issues with its nature when I brought it in from Showdown. Yikes. It was left at a neutral nature on Showdown, so I couldn't... That explains why. So I did fix it later on in the game, but I was always wondering why. Next, we have our third Pokemon that we are bringing in from Free Agency. Replacing Hitmonchan, that is Escavalier, also known by Caesar. And it's holding the Rocky Helmet with Swarm, because I didn't really think I needed Overcoat this week. But it has Mega Horn, Iron Head, Drill Run, and Toxic. Toxic is just there because it's something useful that I can use to wear down his team. But I do have max defense and max HP to take the Dragon-type attacks and the Poison-type attacks, like from Drapion, and all that good stuff. It's also a potential switch into Rabombi, but Rabombi probably has HP Fire, so that's pretty much out of the question. So, like I said, as far as leads go, I am thinking about leading off with Pheromosa or Stunfisk, and then at the last second I'm like, wait, he's probably going to lead Garchomp. That's his only rocker. So then I screwed up completely, and then I don't actually know who I'm leading with. That's not really what I had in mind.
That's the source! It's connected to all those cables. So be careful you don't get shocked.
Well, here we go. Is this the beginning of the end, or is the beginning of a 5-game winning streak? Will we leave this battle with more questions answered, or more answers to questions? Now, that is probably the same thing. The point being is that we are going to see our leads now from James and myself. He leads off with Garchomp, which is perfect because that's what I expected. But I don't even know what I'm leading off with, and it turns out to be Cerberus, Arcanine. Okay, bad start, because even though I'm Choice Scarf, nothing actually takes this Garchomp out in one go. It really doesn't, no matter what. And at this point, because he led off with it, I'm thinking it's a defensive Garchomp. And it's probably showing off alarm bells on his side of the battle because I don't have Intimidate. So what could my Arcanine set actually be? Well, he's not going to find out yet because I'm switching in to my Escavalier to take this Outrage. And you know what? That only does 40 damage. That's actually really good because I know I can take so many more, and especially with the fact that he's locked into Outrage here. So he's only forced to go into Outrage, take more Rocky Helmet damage, and I'm going to go ahead and go for the Toxic here. Now, really is the Toxic worth it? Is it actually worth it to Toxic this thing? Well, at the time, I was thinking that it could still be a defensive Garchomp, but I could probably chalk that up to the fact that I didn't calc how much damage it was doing in comparison to a defensive Garchomp. So, in the end, I think I learned that it wasn't one, and I learned that it was actually Choice Scarf. The whole point being is, it's Toxic, it's getting hit with Rocky Helmet damage, and a Mega Horn knocks it out. But really, would a Mega Horn have knocked it out from the previous HP count? The world may never know. That is the key here, because now, looking at it from hindsight, maybe it was better just to go for the Mega Horn instead of the Toxic. Well, like I said, the world may never know what might happen, but hey, that's just how the world goes sometimes. So looking at his team, he could probably bring out a bunch of stuff. He doesn't really have a Fire-type Pokemon, but maybe he has Fire Punch on his Electros. Maybe he has Hidden Power Fire on the Rabombi. You know, it could be possible. But in fact, he actually brings out Silvally. And at this point, I'm thinking, why does he have two fairy Pokemon? Why does he have two? And it's funny because it says Ghost up here, and I didn't even pay attention to that. It's just because I don't pay attention to the color pink with the Ghost typing. Like, there's no correlation there. I'm used to it being kind of like a dull purple, not having anything to do with the color pink at all. But looking at the possibilities on this turn, I didn't really want to switch into anything per se, because at this point, Escavalier has done quite a job. I mean, sure, I would have liked to switch into my his Drapion off of it as well, just in case, you know, what if he had a Poison-type attack? I don't resist Dark-type attacks, but hey, it could be used as Death Fodder or something. But then I thought, you know, what would the odds of him going for Parting Shot be? What if he actually goes for Parting Shot and I could, you know, maybe get an attack or a Toxic off on something else, you know? What are the odds of that? And, well, you know, as you can see right there, he does go for Parting Shot. So that's actually great for us. The thing is, who does he go into? He goes into Old No Name, which is going to be the Drapion, which, you know, we just went straight for the Iron Head because I thought it was a fairy type Pokemon still. So at least that didn't really bite us in the butt. And at least we didn't go for Toxic because, you know, it wouldn't have done anything. But he actually goes for the knockoff on the switch to Castor. And that does a lot of damage, but it also activates Static. So Old No Name is now Old Gimped and No Name. So this is actually good because that means the speed is cut in half. Unfortunately, our HP is cut in half, and this is more so to deal with things like Electros to an extent, if he has Giga Drain especially, but he's actually going to withdraw as well and go into Escalators, which obviously I can't really touch this thing, but you know what, I wanted to get the Stealth Rock up because I really needed the Stealth Rock up. Because if I can whittle down certain things and prevent his switches, or rather not really prevent switches, but limit switches, then I can start wearing things down and then sweeping with either a Mega Pidgeot or Pheromosa. But I go into Dahaka to take some attacks right now. He actually goes for the Drain Punch. I'm wondering if that was actually a prediction on his part. But, I mean, he's not really gaining any HP back because it's at full. And at this point, you know, all I have is Dark and Dragon-type attacks. I obviously do have Defog and Roost, but I'm not going to Defog now. That makes no sense to do. And I do believe I go for Roost here because the whole point of this Pokemon is more so to be high damage, but not necessarily high damage because I didn't put max in special attack. It's basically supposed to be a max HP, max speed type of thing, but it's not really max, if you know what I mean. Because of course I have enough speed to outspeed Primeape, and I have enough HP to take a Dragon-type attack from Garchomp. But hey, this Drain Punch is actually doing quite more than I would have liked it to, and I don't really want to stay in on more of these to take Draco Meteors. Alright, and even if, I know Draco Meteor is not going to take it out, is what I'm trying to say here. So I'm just going to go ahead and go into the Escavalier here again, and of course he's going to get hit with a Rocky Helmet damage. That's actually really good. I was predicting a Drain Punch again, and he would have gotten hit by the Rocky Helmet regardless. But at least with this point, I was just trying to go for the attack, you know, or I was just trying to sack him off. And here, you know, I wanted to go for Toxic, but I know Blastoise is going to outspeed Escavalier, and I could have switched out something else. But really, on my team, is there really anything that wants to take a Dragon-type attack? Especially the fact that I really wanted that Toxic off. But then again, maybe a switch out into my Hydreigon would have been the better idea. But at that point, once again, you have to think, is it really worth it if this thing is like a super heavyweight, just super wall that can take a lot of attacks? You know, I don't have too much attack investment into my Hydreigon, so maybe it might not have done that much. Maybe a Draco Meteor might not have done anything, and then he had a free switch into something else. Especially with the fact that I can't actually U-turn, because I don't have U-turn. But here, I want to bring in Athena because I want to get enough damage off as possible. Plus, I want to see what his switch into Pheromosa is in the first place, because I know he doesn't want to take a massive high jump kick to the face. At least his Blastoise doesn't. I mean, the trainer probably doesn't want to get hit in the face either, but that's beside the point, because we're aiming for the Blastoise here. So, Blastoise, I know doesn't want to be taking it, and you know, I definitely know that there's a ghost type, I think, later on. And I at least wanted to see what his response to it is. And it turns out it's still Silvally, which is really odd, because I still don't think that it's a ghost type, because I think it's a fairy type. And seeing that U-turn is still not very effective doesn't really alert me to say that, hey, I'm a ghost type. I am not a fairy type. So I'm still thinking that it is a ghost type. But this is why I bring in my Mega Pidgeot here, you know, just so I can get a nice U-turn combination going. Because if I can do that, then I can keep him on his toes. And that is the greatest idea, especially the fact that a Hurricane is going to do a ton of damage. But in the back of my mind, I know this is going to invite Electros back yet again. So I'm more inclined to U-turn in this situation, rather than go for Hurricane. Hurricane might be good damage. And then again, I do outspeed the Electros, but hey, he actually goes ahead and stays in. I'm not sure exactly why, because I just wanted a U-turn. So in that case, Hurricane might have been the better option, but maybe he was predicting me to U-turn, so that he can get off a nice parting shot on the Pokemon that comes in. That's actually really smart. I didn't think of it that way. But he actually stays in to go for Defog. So, it's a tough task. He probably predicted the U-turn, so commending on you. But here, I can go ahead and just go for Stealth Rock again. I don't believe he can take me out with whatever he has. I've only seen Defog, and I've only seen Parting Shot, so it's definitely a pivot. But I'm pretty sure I want to go ahead and go for Stealth Rock. I actually am going for Pain Split, and surprisingly, that doesn't really take much off that I would like to off of this Blastoise. And the problem is, I know I can live 1, but I really need my Stealth Rocks up. I really do. But in fact, I don't actually do it, and he reveals that he has a Walkenberry on this Blastoise, and I know I can't outspeed it again with that, and so I'm like, shoot, now I can't even get my Stealth Rocks up. But I have to switch out because maybe I can get Stealth Rocks off on something else. And what I should have done before was bringing this thing in instead of getting Scalded on my my Escavalier. I should have brought this in the first place, because at least it's my pivot, you know? Because he doesn't want to take this attack, especially with the fact that he's going into Old No Name again, as I'm going for Roost, because I've already revealed Roost. So, what are the odds that he actually predicted for me to go for Roost, you know? But looking at this situation, a Draco Meteor would hurt, Dark Pulse is out of the question, I have no reason to defog, and I have no reason to Roost. Now the question is, do I stay in, or do I just go for Draco Meteor for heavy damage? Well, it's a tough task, but I mean, at least this time, I'm not making the right decisions, you know? Actually, I really wanted a chance to either sack it off, or, you know, for initiative, or get another chance to get my Stealth Rocks up. I mean, it is paralyzed, so I'm thinking, what are the odds that this Drapion could actually be slower than my Stunfisk here? Well, 0% chance, because he's still faster. Maybe I need to stop underrating Stunfisk there. Overrating Stunfisk. I said underrating. That's the wrong thing. Okay, so here, we can't get Stealth Rocks off anymore. We do have what I know, and actually I learned this the hard way. I was like, okay, so which type of Drapion is this? I later found out it is Banded. So we have a Banded Drapion on the field here. So what can we do against a Banded, paralyzed Drapion? And I gotta think. We're down 2 Pokemon being our defensive Pokemon. We still have things like Arcanine, we still have Hydreigon, and we still have Pheromosa, and we still have Mega Pidgeot. And without any way to deal with Drapion in itself, we just have to rely on Hydreigon here, as Hydreigon can actually threaten it out with, you know, Draco Meteors and such. But, I mean, just a couple of turns ago, I was actually in on this thing. It really sucks because now I kind of threw that away, threw that potential Death Fodder away, because he switched this thing into my Hydreigon expecting a Draco Meteor in the first place. And the fact that I have to Draco Meteor now, which means he's going to bring in something for free. Something very threatening to my team, because that's how it always is. Once something gets sacked off, out comes the most threatening Pokemon, and it's this stupid Electros that I can't get past. And I know it sort of threatens me out. What am I talking about? It does threaten me out. Not to the fullest extent where it's going to OHKO me, but I could damage it all day, but it's still going to get HP back because I'm weak to Drain Punch. That is the problem that I'm going to be running into on a consistent basis here. Long story short, I don't think it's a wise idea to go for Dark Pulse. I don't think it's a wise idea to go for Draco Meteor. And really, the only Pokemon I can really go into here is either stay in and just bite the bullet, or go into things like, you know, what would be an option? Arcanine would be an option. Then again, it's Drain Punch. It's not like he's going for Fire Punch or Ice Punch. I don't even think you can get Ice Punch. I have no idea in the slightest. But the move time is ticking down. We finally make our decision to switch out, and this is a massive shock and a massive risk. But I actually predicted him to either go for U-turn or Drain Punch. And that's only because we both resisted, or we both? Athena here resists both. But now I see my chance here, right? Is this truly my chance? I'm actually calculating it at this point. Would going for Foul Play here work? in my opinion, I've looked at it many times before. And foul play actually, you know, foul play should do a lot of damage. Most of the time, I have ran like a physical Seal Valley. As you can see right there, I put the bar code up there because for some reason it got moved out of place. So the whole point was I'm trying to figure out if going for foul play is good enough right here. I look at it, it does not knock it out, and I don't really want this thing knocking me out. So I'm not really going to stay in on that. I need to make sure that doesn't happen. So I'm actually expecting him to go for a ghost type attack still. Now that I know that it is a ghost type, I thought, you know, maybe he wanted to go for multi-attack. It doesn't happen. He goes to parting shot again, which means my attacks aren't going to be doing too much, and especially not with the fact that this Electros is back on the field. Now, this Electros wouldn't be as big of a problem if I constantly didn't have to deal with Drain Punch. It's letting it get back up, and I see the Rocky Helmet as well. I'm kind of curious on why the Rocky Helmet is there. I'll probably have to see his side of the battle later on, but I go into my Arcanine here just because Arcanine really doesn't do too much, but I know I can take at least one Drain Punch. He actually goes for Thunder Punch in that situation. In that case, I probably should have switched out into my Hydreigon for that. But anyways, he brings in this thing. Here's a big prediction from me, as I knew this would happen. And that's a wham, bams, thank you, slam, wild charge onto the Blastoise. But hey, the predictions don't stop there. Now, I could go ahead and just go for wild charge again and do heavy damage to this thing. It's not really heavy damage, it's low HP regardless. But I actually think he wants to save this thing. So I'm actually going to go ahead and switch out into my Hydreigon. I can really take a Scald. I don't believe it has Ice Punch or Ice Beam or anything of the sort. And this is the matchup that I wanted. That way I can bring this thing in on it without it going for Drain Punch and making me get halfway down. It does more like a third of my HP. But point being is I need to drop some type of attack on it. And he knows that. He knows that, so he's just going to go ahead and go into this thing. I should have seen this coming. He got me on this side of the coin, and it's heads or tails. We got the tail side, because it ended up as heads. Because now, once again, I'm -2. He can bring in anything, pretty much. A Dark Pulse isn't really going to be doing too much to me. Or, a Dark Pulse really isn't going to be doing too much to anything. A Draco Meteor would do quite a little bit more than Dark Pulse, but not much, because once again, I'm -2. It's not going to be doing anything. However, he does have this thing. He does have Rabombi. And it's a close match. It's a very close match. We've been trading Pokemon for Pokemon. Because at one point, he was up 5-4. And all of a sudden, now it's 4-3. So, while I might be in the driver's seat in terms of how many Pokemon are left, anything can happen. You saw it week 2 as Austin pulled something out of his hat in a great play. Took advantage of my oversight, and here, I cannot let that happen. I take the Moonblast. It's a critical hit, which does suck because I need this attack to connect, and I need it to take it out. I 100% need to take out this Rabombi. That's the key here, because once that's gone, I outspeed everything with my Mega Pidgeot. Well, I don't take out the stupid Electros, but unfortunately on this, it is sashed. It is sashed. It is sashed. But at least it's going to attack nothing. And oh my gosh, it's going for Quiver Dance. So even though I surprised him with it being Scarfed, it didn't matter in the end because he did that because he knew I was going to kill myself due to this Focus Sash. So now I have to bring in this thing and hope and pray I can survive one attack. One attack. I can hope and pray my HP investment can survive any attack, and it does! 20 HP! I get off the U-turn so then I can avoid having this thing come in, but that is huge for me, because now Mega Pidgeot's off on the side, and I can still use it for a sweep, but now I can bring this thing in to threaten something out, which is perfect, because I know it's going to be the Still Valley Ghost. I know it will be, and I know my calc says it's time. Foul play should take it out. It should be easy. It should be fine. I've already clicked foul play. I'm like, yes, I've got this in the perfect position for Pheromosa to sweep. We're finally going to get the first one. Here comes a foul play, and oh my gosh, it's a special. It is a special Still Valley, which means it didn't take it out. I did have the option as well for using Throat Chop, but instead I went with Foul Play because of the 80 damage. I thought I calculated as well, because why would the attack go up all of a sudden? It's very unclear on why the attack does more for Throat Chop than Foul Play, but hey, we can bring in Hydreigon, take out the Silvally. Unfortunately, this means it's just escalators, dog. He's down to escalators. And, I mean, this is fine. All we need is, you know what, I'm going to whittle it down, so then the Drain Punch won't be doing too much, and I can just, you know, but then this happens. I get hit with a critical hit, which means he's back at a range where I can't go for Dark Pulse again. And theoretically, I could maybe Roost Spam him, but what is the point? What is the point? Like, well, he could, I mean, true, I'm counting on the RNG not hitting a second time, but would I really want to keep stalling like that just to get him up? He's going to be at max HP, and then I'm forced to go for Draco Meteor regardless. That's the bad situation that I'm in right now. Because if I want to get heavy, like I said, I could be doing Dark Pulse. The problem is he'd be getting his HP back further and further and further. So here I'm thinking long and hard, because, of course, that crit really threw a massive wrench into my potential first win here. This is actually really bad. It is really bad. It went from a viable position for me to a, oh crap, I could have gotten the rug swept from under me just because of that crit. Not to say that JB didn't play very good. It was still a very well played game. It still was. But it's all coming down to this. I'm thinking, do I go for Roost here? And I'm thinking, oh shoot, he could go for Drain Punch. But could he also go for Thunder Punch, and it might not do too much damage because I lose the flying type. So I do go for Roost to maybe see if I can get a little bit more HP back. But he goes for Thunder Punch, and it kind of brings me back in the same situation. Now that he's seen me go for Roost here, I don't really want to, and I have to rely on Heat Wave. Can we get the knockout? 1 HP! And that's all she wrote.
I think I found Junpei. He's back at the dorm, but something seems strange. The chairman's there too, so he should be okay. But let's hurry back just in case.